everyone. Welcome to Sitting with Shireen. It is so good to have you back with us as we begin season 2 of Sitting with Shireen. This season is going to be epic, and it is my pleasure that our first episode for the new season is one where I am sitting with someone who I have admired as a young man and as a man of God for a really long time. Tonight, we are sitting with Sanford Rolle Jr. I call him Rev. Hi, Rev.
Hey, how are you?
I'm well.
It's good to be here on Sitting with Shireen. I've watched the show, and like I told you, I'm extremely impressed with the production of it. And like I said to you and your cast, I see you as a budding Christian version of Oprah.
Yes. Thank you so much for the
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. We're good to have you. We are so happy to have you, and we're going to get right into it. And I was telling Rev before we began that I was not sure prior to us coming here today what we were going to title this episode. Let's get right into it. Rev, you ready?
Ready?
Okay, good stuff. Question. As a young man, can you remember some of your dreams as a teenager? Do you remember any of your teenage dreams?
Okay. As a young man, I was very much into sports.
Okay, yeah.
In particular, basketball. And I spent basically my entire childhood playing basketball for the teams and everything. And if you know anything about sports culture, if you're involved in any amateur sports, the number one thing you want to do is go pro.
Yeah.
And so for a long time, I was gung-ho on trying to go pro, trying to play professional basketball, seeing yourself in the shining lights and playing with all the best in the world. But I would say that was the majority of where I saw myself. But I was also pretty decent academically.
Okay.
And if I would have gone pro and after, I would have considered myself going into something in healthcare, to be a doctor. And immediately upon entering university, I realized that it was not for me.
Okay.
The structure of it.
And that's basketball?
The basketball dream died.
Okay.
It died early in the high school journey when you start realizing that it's just probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
But as I went into university, I started off studying to be a doctor.
Okay.
And then I quickly realized that it just wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah.
It was a bit too structured for me. And my thing was the amount of work that would have to go into making it happen. I would have to love it.
Yeah.
And I just didn't. So I switched over to psychology.
Okay. Now that explains a whole lot. We're going to get into this a bit more. And Rev, you said something that I thought was very interesting. You said that I realized that it just wasn't for me. This is a bit off tangent, but you seem to have acknowledged that at an earlier age.
Right.
You said that you had just entered into college, and then you really early on you said that you realized maybe this just isn't for me. I was just sitting down talking to, I think it might have been my makeup artist, and talking about even at this age now, I'm still trying to not figure it out, but solidify myself in what's for me.
Wow.
There are a lot of times when we don't seem to pay attention to what's not for us. We just continue going along with the cycle, and we find ourselves just not ever getting to the area where our purpose is, or things that are niche, things that make us happy, the things that come natural, that type of thing.
Yes.
But eventually you got there.
I got there. Well, I would say still getting there. Still getting there. Now I know this is you're a spiritual lady, a church lady, my own church member.
Go right ahead.
So,
Go ahead.
For me to talk about my life and not get spiritual, I can't talk about my life.
Thank you. Let us know.
Yeah, I can't talk about my life without really getting spiritual. So for me and us as spiritual persons, it's the balance between calling and also your own personal desires,
Okay.
your own personal makeup, your wiring. And sometimes that's a tension
Yeah.
because you're asking yourself the question, who am I supposed to be?
Yeah.
Who do I want to be? And how does that fit within God's design?
Yeah.
And I struggled with that massively
I can imagine.
as a youth.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk too much before we go into it, but I'll just give a backdrop so we can have some foundation to stand on. But I struggled mightily
Yeah.
in my understanding of God.
Yeah.
I think I misinterpreted who God was,
Okay.
his character,
I get that.
and I misrepresented it.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, I misunderstood his plan.
Yes.
And beyond that, I also went on to just completely missing a lot of the blessings. In particular, the grace and the mercy of God.
Yes.
And we grew up Pentecostal.
Tell us. Talk about it.
And I believe in my nature, I'm very much a sponge. I pick
Okay,
up,
I get you.
I pick up.
Yes.
I sense environments. And being young and Pentecostal and having the holiness movement pushed down on you, for me, it brought me to a place where I feared God, but I didn't really know God.
Oh, wow.
So I had a fear of God.
Come on, Rev, preach.
I had a fear of God, a reverence for God, and it was an unhealthy fear
Yes.
to the point that I was afraid to mess up.
Oh, wow.
And because I was so afraid to mess up, I found myself just stuck and stagnant in a lot of places in my life because I was always just waiting. It was always, should I do this? I don't want to mess up on God. I don't want to go the wrong way. I don't want to do that. I want to do this. It helped me to stay away from a lot of negative things,
I get that.
but it also kept me from a lot of things that I think God would have wanted me to explore, but I just missed it. It just went over my head. And now looking back at it, I'm like, I was really wound up really, really religiously and tight.
Yes.
So that's like a backdrop of my mindset as a young man growing up church-wise.
Rev, I have to tell you that I know exactly what you mean. And even sitting with Shireen is a part of me finding that freedom. I too found myself at almost like just, you know how when you're in the water and you're just straddling, you know what I mean? You're not swimming, you're not sinking, you're not really going anywhere. You're just trying to stay afloat.
Right.
It's just a place of being comfortable. It's like just being comfortable. I didn't want to make the wrong move. You didn't want to move too fast. You don't want to move too slow. You don't want to go too high. You don't want to be too low. That's something that held me for a really, really long time, which is why today I'm just now identifying and embracing what I can do.
Wow.
What God wants for me to do, or what He has for me to do. That sounds like a topic for a different discussion. And that's something that we need to discuss. As men and women who would have been in the position and then now still having young people who might be in that position. At this age, we can show them that you're 20 now. You don't have to be in this position. Embrace who God is.
Wow.
Okay? We can teach them what we've known or what we've come to know in the past few years as to who God is. Yes, you fear God. Yes, you reverence God. But do you really know who He is?
Do you know Him?
Do you know who you are in Him? Those things are really important for us to be able to do while we are still young.
You're preaching there.
And we can still relate to those who are a little bit younger than us. And if we go really into us being church brother and sister, we identify that there's a gap. I don't know if you've ever noticed it, but it appears as though there's a bit of a gap. We are now the gap fillers.
Wow.
Okay, we are now the gap fillers.
You're in the spirit.
Yes, so we are the gap fillers. So as best as we can, and that's why we have platforms like this, sitting with Shireen to be able to show and share and help others to be able to overcome at earlier ages. You might be older and you find yourself in that position. Let's just share and let people know how God brought us out and the revelation, the knowledge that we now operate in.
That's good.
Right, Rev?
That's good.
Right, Rev. That's
I
what
like
we're gonna,
that.
so we're gonna talk. We're
like
gonna
that.
talk. Thanks so much for sharing that. And
Yeah.
like I said, you see why I call him Rev? Okay, because he done preach a whole sermon on sitting with Shireen. Okay.
If you want
Now,
to call it that.
so Rev, would you say that your dreams, but I guess we could kind of say that we could see the difference. Your dreams then are different from what reality now. And take us through that transition from being the dreamer of a basketball player or a doctor to now into the Sanford Rolle Jr. that you are today.
Okay. Yeah, let me stay on the spiritual wave, because like I said, for me to
Yes,
describe my life
100%.
and not keep it spiritual, I would cease to exist.
Yes.
It wouldn't even be Sanford.
And I love it.
So a big part, and I have to bring this in because then it really ties and you get an understanding of I am. I'm an open book. I'm not ashamed of
Thanks for
anything,
that
but
too.
prophecy.
Okay.
Prophecy, a big part of our denomination. But I will say that the devil will use prophecy to ruin your life.
Okay, Rev, you're gonna have to go into that. Tell us what you mean.
I'm not bashing any denomination, not even our own. This is me. This is the way I interpret it.
Go right ahead.
And this is the way
You're
it
free here.
affected me.
Yeah.
All right?
You're free here.
Remember I said that it was my dream to go pro, to play professional basketball, etc. Here's where it got interesting and it got difficult and it became almost idle, if you would say. I've been prophesied to in regards to that very dream.
Wow.
In regards to
Being
that
a
very dream.
basketball player.
Being a basketball player. So tying that in now with my desire to do God's will, my desire not to mess up on God,
I get it.
my desires not to fail God, and now to hear that I want to do this, God wants me to do this, and now the question comes in as time's going by, what am I supposed to do with my life, seeing that I obviously missed it?
Yeah, this basketball ain't working.
Because we understand prophecy. It was, and I don't have to go into the explanation of you're not taking what one person saying, false prophecy and all that.
Yes.
My issue, Shireen, is this. I had that prophecy given to me more than once.
Wow.
More than once.
Oh my gosh.
So for that to be a foundation of where I believe God wants me to be, and for me to be chasing after that and trying to figure out, well, how does this even happen? It put a burden on me.
Yes.
And it consumed an entire portion of my life. I would say probably between the ages of 16 to maybe about 21.
Wow.
It just completely consumed that time of my life, because it was always like, I'm running out of time. I'm missing God's will. I'm out of God's will. And I had to put that prophecy down.
Yeah. Wow.
And I believe that was the start of me beginning to understand who God was.
Yeah.
And beginning to understand who I am. And beginning to understand my place in the whole makeup of things. So at that point, I was like, all right, that's done.
Yeah.
It didn't cause me to go rebel on God and all these different kind of things, but it did cause me to start asking questions.
Yes.
And in asking questions, through life, I saw God began to give me answers and to show me and to teach me and to tell me. And so I'd say in regards to my dreams now versus my dreams then, I'm very much at a place in my life where it's not so much dreaming, but it's getting a greater understanding of who God is and more of letting him carry me.
Yes, I love it.
And he has brought me into that place. And it started, like I said, after that period of time of uncertainty. And I've watched him carry me. I've watched him carry me. I've watched him carry me. And he had to carry me, Shireen, because you know when you're lost. You know when
Wait,
you
where you
know
going?
you know where you're at a place where you're not sure which way is the right way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So God was like, you don't know which way to go. Let me just carry you to where I want you to go.
Oh, preach
So
this.
it literally is like I went through a phase of my life where I was not trying.
Yeah. Wow.
Like I would just go, and it built my faith in God in such a way. I remember I'm going too
Keep
much,
going.
but
No, you're good.
it built my faith in God in such a way, man. When it was time for me to go back to university, I had no more money, and it was time for me to go back to university. And we were trying, we were trying to make it happen. We were trying to make it happen. The scholarships and
Yes.
everything like that. I told my mother, I said, Mommy, if it's God's will
Come on.
for me to go back to university, then just let him make a way.
Yes.
I said, I'm not
That's
doing the fighting thing anymore. I said, I already been there. I'm not doing. I said, if God wants me to do
Yes.
this,
Yes.
let him make a
Yes.
way. So I gave up, and I basically came to the end of myself and the end of my capabilities. And at that point, I kid you not,
That part right there.
I kid you not, I'm not lying, and my parents and my family can vouch for it. We received a phone call from the scholarship division saying that I had a scholarship to go off to university.
Oh my gosh.
This is a scholarship that I did not apply for.
Come on.
That I did not apply for.
Oh my God.
I didn't put pen to paper because I told my mommy, I said, it's on God if he wants this done.
Yes.
And God worked it out in a way where, without a shadow of a doubt, I knew that I was in his will. So when I say that I came to a place where God was like, nah, you don't know which way to go. I'm just gonna go ahead and carry you.
Oh.
I'm just gonna go ahead and carry you. And that's where I was. And that's where, honestly, I live. I live in that place where I look at my life and it's like, how? Like, I wasn't trying to get here. And I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it because it's really hard to plan around it. I'm coming to the place where God is teaching me now that you are in a wilderness place where miracles are happening. The manna from heaven is falling. You don't know where it's coming from. The quails are just showing up. I'm making water in the wilderness. But there's coming a place where you're going to have to learn how to plan and everything like that. And I'm just now, over the course of probably the last 10 years, coming into a place where I'm now realizing that be coming out of the wilderness and getting into Jordan, where you have to understand some things, you have to plan, you have to have a vision and a set goal and all these different kind of things. But for a good 10-year period of my life, I feel like I've just been carried.
We were just talking about season. I think I was telling somebody how, the Bible talks about for everything there is a season. And so there's a season for God to carry you, where you had to develop that faith, that level of faith. Now, after developing that faith, he is entrusting you with what he had given you during a season of completely depending on him. That's how God works. I tell people all the time, whenever we do Bible study or whenever we're studying something, in a lot of instances, the blessings of God is conditional. You have to do something. He does something, or he does something and then entrusts you to do something. That's how this relationship, because it is a relationship that we're in with the Lord. I give, he gives.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
He takes, I take. It's a give and take thing for anyone who is in a relationship with the Lord. And so I get that. At that point, you were faith in it. Now you're working what he had given you in that faith. I want to say, Rev talked about his university experience, and was that scholarship. Where was that scholarship?
It was the university.
The university. The reason why, the greater part of why Rev is here today is because I remember either seeing his graduation picture posted or some type of celebration about him having graduated. And I was like, when he had time? When did he have time to graduate? When did he graduate? Because you shared the story about you not being able to go, and I remember being part of the church. I don't know. I think we had to help or something. You know, it was said
Something like
in
that,
church. You know that there was a need, and now graduating, and we didn't even know you was back in school. I don't think I knew that you were back in school.
Right.
But I just remember seeing the graduation picture and just being so happy that he was able to accomplish this.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I wondered,
remember that.
how did he do it? When did he do it? Like, what is the story behind him graduating today? And we can see what it is. It was his faith. The fact that his dreams turned into faith, or there was a part of the faith intricately twined in dreams. And then, of course, a lot of that getting rid of the
mindset. Renewal of the mind.
Thank you very much. Renewal of the mindset.
Right.
And here he was. And now he is here, standing today, having graduated from Lee some time ago in psychology.
Yeah, it's not that simple, because I don't want to make myself out. I'm extremely I like to be vulnerable. I like to be real.
Yes, I love that.
And I'm not going to make myself out to be somebody that's figured that out and then just went. Because in between me getting the scholarship, it came another point I ran out of money again.
Okay.
And of course, discouragement, feeling as though, it's just, what's going on? I'm supposed to be able to finish school. God, don't you want me here?
Yes.
The whole 9 yards. And in the process of that, it was a span of 10 years.
Oh, wow.
To the point that I was about to lose my credits.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I was about to lose all of my credits. And you wouldn't believe how close I was to graduating.
Oh, wow.
I was 9 credits away.
What?
From graduating from university. But of course, during the course of that, God brought my wife to me in a miraculous way. We can talk about that if we ever.
I was like,
if we ever
married and
if we ever.
When does this happen?
Yeah, if we ever have a marriage, but I won't go into that because that's a.
Yeah, you're coming back for that one, okay?
Yeah, that's a supernatural thing within itself.
Yeah.
But as it relates to the university, remember I said this is a God thing. My mother had a dream or open eye vision.
Okay, yes.
These real life stories, y'all.
Yeah, come on,
this is my life. This is my life. My mother had a dream or real life vision that I was going to graduate from university.
Okay.
And this is the part that threw me for a loop. She said that I was going to graduate from Lee University.
Oh, it's very specific.
It was very specific. She said God told her, and you know about a praying mother?
Yes, sir.
She said God told her I was going to graduate from Lee University. So, me, of course, I know when we praying and everything, but I said, man, I got to find a way to finish school. So I was doing everything in my power, trying to find every single avenue possible. Going back to University of the Bahamas, they talking about taking half of my credits by, that's not about to happen. Doing another school online, all these different kind of things. I was trying to figure out what can I do, what can I do, what can I do, what can I do.
Determination.
Eventually, I gave up again.
Oh, wow.
I gave up again. And I said, God, I've been trying. And obviously it ain't working. Because remember, the dream wasn't that I was going to finish. It was that I was going to finish at Lee. So I'm trying all these other avenues. And God trying to say, didn't I say Lee? And I'm like, I don't see that. I don't see that. I don't see that. Remember, I'm already skeptical about prophecy. So, so in the span of that time, now I give up. I give up. And COVID came in. And it presented an opportunity.
Yes. Okay.
And so at that time, I
get
said,
it.
God said, you said Lee. I said, let me go back to Lee and find out, is there any possible way for me to be able to finish? And that's when the advisor explained to me that it's not possible for me to finish with my psychology degree.
Okay.
But because I have 9 electives left, and they don't require me to be in the psychology classes. I had already finished all of my psychology classes.
Okay.
They said, you can finish with a liberal studies degree
Oh.
where you don't lose any of your credits, but unfortunately, you wouldn't be counted as having a psychology degree, even though I did all the psychology classes.
Right, I get it.
And that was my way out.
Wow.
So I took that, and during the COVID period, while we were working half days and all these different kind of things, I used it as an opportunity to finish school 10 years later.
And you know, Rev,
So,
like I said, that was determination. And to be honest with you, I didn't share this with you. You were my inspiration to actually seek out studies at Lee.
wow.
It was during COVID, and I think I did remember this earlier. I think it was when you graduated. It was around COVID time when you graduated.
Yeah, I graduated in 2021.
And that was when I started during the COVID season at the university. When I saw his graduation picture, I was like, if he could do it, I could do it.
If this idiot could
If this Rev, this man of God could do it, I could do it. And if we can do it, you can do it too.
It's true.
We're stopping now here at Sitting with Shireen for this segment. And we're going to invite you to join us at part 2, right here on the chair and on the set of Sitting with Shireen. So come back to us and join us for part 2 of this segment. Ooh-wee. This conversation really had me thinking. But truthfully, it completely blessed me. We're not done yet. Here's a bit of the conclusion of A Living Sacrifice with Minister Sanford Rolle. Be sure to join us Tuesday, July 22nd at 8 p.m. to hear the end of this matter.
First of all, I'm no prayer warrior, period. So my prayers are usually just random.
Genuine.
Just random, just utterings. So I'm like, God, living sacrifice, right? Let me try. That's literally what I said. Wow. I said, God, with everything in me, I'm going to try. I said, I'm going to try to do that, right?
Yes.
And that very day, that simple prayer, I got summoned